Okay, welcome to the virtual tour of the van. We'll do a walk around. Excuse all the ash on the van. Cleans right off. We'll get to that. Just kind of the front here as well. So Carfax mentions that there was a collision on the front end. No frame damage that I could find or my mechanic could find, so pretty good shape there. The one thing that you can see though is parts have been replaced. Yeah, you can kind of see the color mismatch there. Anyways, moving forward, I'll just show the other side of the van. Nothing really special to see on that side, which is by design. Just a, stealth van, no windows. Okay, so I guess now we'll kind of go into the functional bits. I'll start in the back and then move our way up to the front to look at the pretty bits. So the lock works, and here are both doors. Okay, so in the back, lots of storage space, and then the bedroom up top, but we'll get to that later. So over on this side, we've got storage racks for up to 9 foot long surfboards, and those actually go all the way underneath the kitchen. So that's the kitchen counter up there. And then bike racks here. So these fit 2 mountain bikes, or definitely 2 road bikes as well. And this drawer, it's kind of tough to do, boom, with one hand, but yeah, that slides out. I think it's 5 feet, 60 inches, and then it locks outward and locks inward. Okay, 46 gallons of fresh water, lots and lots of fresh water. Built it with the intention of living in it, and if you go to a cold climate, then it doesn't freeze. Down here is the water pump and accumulator. So it always holds a little bit of pressure, even if you've turned off the water pump. The accumulator kind of like keeps that pressure and prevents the water pump from having to turn on and off, so quickly. So just kind of continuing on before we go to a different system. This is also part of the plumbing system. This tank right here, that is the hot water heater. It runs off of the engine heat, so it's basically free heat. You run the engine for a little bit, it heats it up automatically, and then you have hot water for about 24 hours before needing to take it for a drive again. This gray box right here, we'll get to later. That's the fridge. But yeah, going in a little bit deeper here. Oh, okay. This is the electrical system. So this is kind of the exciting part of the vehicle for me. Down here is the lithium battery. So this is a 100 amp hour lithium battery, and here's my hand. It really doesn't take up much space at all. Which is amazing because it has 100 amp hours, which is equivalent to a 200 amp hour AGM battery. Takes up less space, needs less maintenance, doesn't need any ventilation, and it lasts 10 years versus the AGM batteries last 3 years. So the only drawback there was cost, but definitely worth it. Okay, and then up here is the solar charge controller. So this hooks up to the 400 watts of solar. During the build, I only had 100 watts hooked up, and that was more than enough for us to keep the battery charged during the day. And then I thought I needed 400 watts, so I bought the whole kit. So I installed the remaining panels before putting it up for sale. So basically, the electrical system is more than enough for really anything that you plan to do. And another reason why is a lot of these systems have been designed to be, they are designed to use some other energy, such as the water heater. So you don't have to worry about using electricity for everything. So that's a really efficient system. And finally, one of the nicest parts here is the inverter. So this is what converts from 12 volt power down here to household 120 volts up here. It's a pure sine wave inverter, so you can hook up any electronics to it and they run beautifully. And it's 1,000-watt inverter, so you can run a lot of power through it. And you can run it up to 2,000 watts for a few minutes, just as like, you know, the boost power that it allows. And then it's got a really low idle power consumption as well. So you don't need to worry about turning it on and off all the time. You can just leave it on and it's fine. Yeah, so I think that's it for electrical. Oh, the other thing is this right here is a Bluetooth module which hooks up to the solar charge controller, and you can open up an app on your phone and monitor the, you know, the capacity of the battery and how fast it's charging and all that right from the app. So you don't have to come back here all the time. One other thing is this is the fuse panel. So everything is safely fused. Basically, I've calculated, you know, how much fuse you need for the size of the wire and the size of the component. So everything's really safe there as well. I'm gonna cut to get back out of here. Okay, back out of the garage. One more thing to show here is what powers the stove. So that's this propane tank. Propane tank is super nice. It's in this sealed locker, so any leakage that happens will happen inside of this locker, and there's a little vent hole which vents to the outside right there. So it's sealed and externally vented, so it's the way that you're legally supposed to do it, and obviously for peace of mind it's really nice. Yeah, and then there's a solenoid valve in there, so when you're done using the propane, you switch off that solenoid valve, and I'll show you how in the kitchen later. But it's on basically a timer switch, so even if you forget to turn it off, it'll eventually turn itself off, and the propane will be fully sealed in here. It's a really nice system, and propane's really nice because this thing is so cheap to fill, and it gives you, sorry, someone was driving by there, it gives you so much time for cooking where you never have to worry about budgeting your, if you know, went with an electric stovetop, you don't have to worry about budgeting your electric power. If you went with any other energy type, I mean, really these propane tanks are the way to go. I don't know why they're not more common. Okay, so seal this up. Okay, so that pretty much covers the garage. Move on to the front. Okay, one other thing to mention is the gray water tank. So this is the vent for the gray water tank. And then down here is the gray water tank itself. So that's 30 gallons, and it drains similar to the way that you would drain any RV. Okay, turn on some lights in here, but yeah, this is the inside of the van. I'll spin one of these seats around to show you what that looks like. Okay, one of the seats rotated around, lots of room. Your feet kind of hang because there's like a step down in the floor here. So I made this nice ottoman. So when you're sitting there, you can put your feet up here. It's a really nice feature to have. I just thought, you know, it'd be kind of cool to do something with this wall besides just leave it blank, and you know, there's a hanger up there as well. This right here is the tabletop, which mounts right here, and yeah, just like so. You know, it's fully swivel, adjustable, swinging, and then you can also adjust the height as well here. So whatever height works for you, if you wanted to use it as a desk, or if you wanted to use it as some extra counter space, or even a standing desk. And as you've seen, the driver's seat also rotates. It's just kind of a pain because you have to take the e-brake off, but you know, you've seen the pictures, so if you want me to show you that process later, I can as well. Okay, so going into the rest of the build here, we'll start kind of front to back, but you know, you got a good idea of what the kitchen looks like here. We'll go kind of into the kitchen later. First, what I wanted to show was the winter survival cabinet. So down here is a diesel heater right there. Putting it to my toe, but yeah, that's the diesel heater. So that's really nice for winters. Burns like maybe a gallon of diesel every 24 hours. Yeah, really nice, keeps the van warm. We actually have like the roof fan going while this is running, and sometimes it still gets too hot in here, so more than enough. Then we have tire chains. They work great when you're driving in the mountains in Tahoe. Amplifier, so there's a subwoofer under the seat, as well as an upgraded stereo system. So this uses, this has, you know, Apple CarPlay on it, and then the speakers are also upgraded. Talking about driving comforts, the only other thing to mention here is it does have cruise control. So a lot of them don't have cruise control, so that was a nice upgrade that I actually put in. Going back here, so there's a couple of these plugs in the van. You know, household 120 volt power from that inverter. Then you have just standard 12 volt cigarette lighter and a couple of USB ports, and they're quick charge 3 amp. And yeah, I think there's like 4 of these, so, or like 4 USB ports. Don't want to oversell it either. But yeah, plenty to charge whatever you're bringing. This right here is the control for the fan in the back. So pretty nice. You can, you know, leave it open without having the fan on. You could have it on exhausting, you can have it intaking, and then you can adjust the speed. You know, there's like 10 different speed adjustments. It says 40%, but you know, it's in increments of 10%. And I think there's also ceiling fan mode where you could have this, like the hood shut and this spinning. But what's really nice about this one versus others is you actually, you can leave the fan on, leave the hood open, and it could be raining and you won't get wet. Really cool stuff. Okay, let's see. Lots of storage up here. Storage here, storage here. Not finished inside. I don't see a lot of people doing that, but something to mention. Over here, we can turn on some more lights, and they're all dimmable. I guess I could show you. Yeah, just like that. Okay, this cover right here. So we'll just go through all these quick. This one turns on the heater control panel for that diesel heater down there. All right, there. These 2 switches, this one turns on the water pump. Not sure if the microphone was sensitive enough to pick that up, but you can kind of hear the pump cycle on, and then now you've got water over there, water pressure. This one is the 60-minute timer for the propane. So that was, you know, underneath the bed in that corner is where the propane is. So that turns on that solenoid valve. So now when you come over here, one that we turned on was water pressure. So you have water pressure and filtered water, and hot water comes out of here. Also, that switch activates the shower. We'll show that in a second. But yeah, one switch for both, and then propane. So there you go. We got lots of cooking. Okay, and then, yeah, turn those off, but you don't need to. They'll turn off eventually. Again, 12 volt cigarette lighter and the other 2 USB ports. This turns on and off the inverter. So again, you can just leave that on. So now you've got 120 volts. All right, sink looks like that inside. pretty nice, pretty big. This little grate here is removable. I like to leave it in. It's nice, you know, you can let dishes dry in there. Okay, continuing through the kitchen. This is what the one of the cabinets looks like. Lots of room in here. This is removable. And then you can see some of the plumbing in there too. Let me know if you want to see anything in more detail there. But highlights are that white tube right there, that's the filter. This white PVC pipe, that's the drain. And then, you know, these are the intakes, both hot and cold, labeled with the proper colors. Okay. Over here, it's another kind of bonus cabinet. So this is where I pointed to at the beginning of the video. The surfboards will come in underneath the counter here. And if you're not storing surfboards, then you just have this big cabinet. It's pretty nice. Okay. This is the fridge. Okay, there we go. Fridge. Pretty nice. You can adjust it to be either a freezer or a fridge. Pretty nice. And then what I do here is I just kick it closed. And then if you wanted to, you can also kind of lock it in place that way. Okay, here, a lot of people ask about this one. This is the ladder up to the bed. And then you can also unlock it and pull it upward. Maybe, you know, I could use two hands here. And get yourself access to the, yeah, here. Gives access to the garage. So, then it locks down in place. Just so you know, if you have something back there that you wanted to reach and you didn't want to go outside, if it's cold or, you know, it's early in the morning, it's nice to have access. Okay, shower. This is really nice. So the floor dimensions are 2 feet wide by 3 feet long. Lots of room in here to take a nice warm shower. Guess it's probably worth, you know, showing that there are lights in the bedroom and there are lights in the bathroom. So that was the bedroom. This is bathroom. Okay. This is one of those Thetford porta potties. So clean water in the top tank, dirty water in the bottom tank. The bottom tank stays nice and sealed. And when it comes time to empty it, you just, you know, take the top tank off and then take the bottom tank to a bathroom or a porta potty or whatever you can find, and it's easy enough to dump. And I think it holds like 5 gallons. I'm not sure exactly. Okay, shower up here. It's one of these removable heads. It's got great pressure for the flow. It's 1.5 gallon per minute, so it really doesn't use much water, but it still, like, it feels really nice. And you have both hot and cold water here. Same thing as this sink, both hot and cold water. And then this toilet paper holder. A lot of people ask, how do you take a shower without getting the toilet paper wet? So this is purposely designed. It kind of dispenses some toilet paper out while it's going, but it's got this, you know, rubber seal here. So keeps the toilet paper dry. Really nice stuff there. And then the drain is right there. And yeah, this is all sealed nicely with silicone and a few layers of varnish there. And then just a standard shower curtain. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, we can show the bedroom finally. So 10-inch memory foam mattress, really comfortable. Yeah, definitely comes with the van if you want it. And then back here is more storage. So if you can kind of tell, the ones in the kitchen are actually a bit smaller than the ones, oh here, hand for size. They're quite a bit smaller than the ones in the bedroom. So lots of room here for storage, or for, you know, clothing or whatever you want to store in there. Again, not finished in there, but it's been fine for our application. Okay, I think that's about it. One other thing I guess to mention here is these are curtains that I always just kind of keep up here, but they're nice blackout curtains. And you know, if we're parked late at night, we don't want to set up, we've got some windshield reflectors here. You could just put these down, go right to bed, or hang out in the bed. But if you want this space to hang out, then by all means, you know, put up the window reflectors. Oh, and then obviously this is our source of natural light when it's not covered in ash. But yeah, so source of natural light here, it's a skylight. I think it's like 15 by 15 inches. It's got like a few different settings of height. This one's like rain mode, a little bit more, and then fully open. So stargazing mode. And then you also have a screen, and then we use this a lot, the blackout shade. Really nice to have. Okay, and then yeah, it locks. Nobody's broken into it. It's pretty nice. I think that's about it. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions, anything you wanted to see in more detail.